Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're opening up what feels like the operating manual for your brain. You shared some really compelling sources focused on 8 specific brain rules, basically a science-backed roadmap for achieving, real productivity without just feeling drained all the time. So our mission today, find those key levers, those switches. We all get the same 24 hours, right? But the difference is often how people, run their brains. We're looking for those neuroscientific shortcuts to manage stress, switch on motivation, maybe delete a bit of that laziness we all feel.
And that exhaustion is so real. The sources paint a picture of a brain that's just constantly bombarded, notifications, scrolling. Your mind jumps around every few seconds. The big takeaway here really is that you can't win by fighting your brain. You can't force it. Mastery comes from understanding and working with its rules. These 8 rules.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Playing by the rules, not against them. Let's unpack this. Where do the sources say we should start? Seems like it begins with the basics, the physical first.
Exactly, the foundation. Physical and mental reset.
Right. Rule number 1, sleep. And we treat it like it's optional, don't we? A luxury. First thing to go when we get busy. But the research you shared, it calls this basically self-sabotage.
It really is. Sleep isn't just downtime, it's critical biological maintenance. Think of it like the brain's cleaning crew. It clears out metabolic waste, resets stress chemicals, files away memories properly. It also balances your emotions and really just cleans up your thinking.
So it's not just about feeling rested.
Not at all. Good sleep makes those small daily decisions feel easier. It sharpens your intuition, helps you maintain focus. It makes motivation feel, natural, not something you have to force. Productivity, honestly, it starts the night before, in bed.
Okay, foundation piece 1, sleep. That leads right into rule 2, exercise. Moving your body to sharpen your mind. We all know that foggy brain feeling, right? Thoughts feel slow, attention is scattered, and what do? Reach for coffee, maybe scroll on our phone.
Yeah, but the sources consistently point elsewhere. Movement. Exercise isn't just for muscles, it's fuel for the mind. Moving your body releases dopamine, serotonin. These are the neurochemicals that make you feel good, motivated, focused. It's an immediate boost.
Okay, immediate boost, that's good.
But here's where it gets really interesting, long term. Regular movement literally changes your brain structure. It promotes neurogenesis, the growth of new brain cells. It strengthens the connections, the neurons, especially those involved in focus, memory, and even creativity. It's why thinking while walking often feels so much more productive than just sitting still. You're feeding the thought process itself.
Right, so brain's rested, it's fueled. Now we hit maybe the biggest modern challenge, focus. Rule number 3, 1 task at a time. That whole multitasking myth. It feels productive, juggling 5 things, but nothing really gets finished properly, does it?
No, it's an illusion. The sources talk about cognitive switching costs. Every single time your brain jumps email, spreadsheet, Slack message back again, you lose mental energy. You lose time just reorienting.
It's like revving an engine in neutral. Lots of noise, no forward motion.
Exactly. And those tiny costs add up incredibly fast. It makes work feel like paddling upstream.
Okay, but let's be real. Pure, unbroken focus. It's tough. Life interrupts. Bosses need things, family needs things. How do the sources suggest we handle the reality of interruptions?
That's a fair point. It's not about demanding impossible perfection. It's about being strategic. You carve out dedicated blocks for deep work, maybe 90 minutes, maybe less to start. And during that block, you train your mind and maybe signal to others that this time is protected. Not everything is truly urgent right now. It's about you conducting your attention, not being pulled around by every little ping.
Being the conductor, I like that. Okay, so managing attention leads to rule number 4, stress. Managing it before it manages you. Stress feels like this background noise, right? But the sources frame it as something more damaging, a quiet storm that slows thinking, weakens focus, makes us fearful in our decisions. It just burns you out silently.
We often try to just push through it, call it hustle. But the research is clear. Stress isn't just mental. It's a physiological alarm bell going off.
A signal that something's out of balance.
Exactly. And the first step is just recognizing that signal, not ignoring it until it shuts down your rational thinking, your prefrontal cortex. When stress gets too high, the amygdala, the emotional center, can basically hijack your thinking. Bad decisions follow.
Okay, so recognize the signal, then what?
The sources give practical steps. First, pause. Just stop. Take a deep, slow breath. That simple action tells your body the immediate threat is over. Then, maybe ask yourself, okay, what does my mind actually need right now? Space. clarity, just some reassurance. Sometimes even a short walk, just moving your body helps process the emotion.
And there was another piece, resetting expectations.
Yes, super important. Stop demanding perfection. Stop putting pressure on yourself to do everything, like instantly. You're human, not a machine. Changing that internal pressure can really diffuse the stress.
Okay, moving into learning and memory. Rule 5, repeat to remember. This hits home. You read something brilliant, feel inspired, then poof. A day later, when you need it, your mind's blank. We think, oh, I just have a bad memory.
Right. But the sources argue it's usually not the memory itself, it's the method of learning. The brain is like a muscle. You don't build muscle with one trip to the gym. Real learning, real retention comes from repetition. Specifically, things like spaced repetition, reviewing information at increasing intervals, and the testing effect, actively trying to recall the information.
Testing yourself, not just rereading.
Exactly. It's much more powerful. It forces the brain to retrieve the information, which strengthens the pathway.
So it's about effortful integration, not just passive inspiration like, scrolling through feeds. Making it part of how you think.
Precisely. Repetition is how you make knowledge stick and actually influence your habits and decisions. It's the brain's language for this is important.
And to make that learning even stickier, rule number 6, visuals beat text. You see a powerful image, it stays with you, you read a dense paragraph, maybe not so much.
There's a clear reason for that. Visuals often get processed much faster, almost instantly. Color, emotion, meaning it hits you without the need to slowly decode text line by line.
It cuts through the fog, provides clarity quickly.
Yeah, so the practical application here for productivity is huge. How can you make information more visual? Use mind maps for brainstorming, flowcharts for processes, diagrams, even just color coding your notes.
It engages different parts of the brain, right? Not just logic, but imagination too.
Exactly. It taps into those powerful visual and spatial processing centers, which can really fuel next level thinking and problem solving.
Okay, this next one, rule 7, feels really core. Emotions drive action. We focus so much on logic, plans, to-do lists. But the sources say our actual drive comes from emotion.
Absolutely. If your heart isn't in it, you don't have an emotional connection to a goal. It just feels like a chore, a burden, something you have to do, not something you want to do.
You tick the box, but there's no real energy behind it.
Compare that to when there is a deep emotional connection. Think of a parent staying up all night with a sick child, or an artist pouring months into a project. That isn't driven by logic alone. That kind of sustained, tireless effort comes from a deep emotional wellspring. Maybe pride, love, passion, even avoiding the pain of regret. Logic might plot the course, but emotion turns the ignition key.
So for the listener, what's the instruction? How do you apply that?
You need to find the emotional why behind the what's. Find the WIFM, what's in it for me, but on an emotional level. Even for boring tasks, filling out that spreadsheet. Don't focus on the cells. Focus on the feeling of security it brings, or the freedom completing it provides, or maybe just the simple pride of getting it done well. Connect to that feeling. When the reason hits your heart, the action feels almost effortless, unstoppable.
Okay, powerful stuff. And that brings us to the final rule, rule 8. And this is one I think high achievers maybe especially struggle with. The brain needs breaks. We try to work like machines, non-stop, head down, push through, and the result? Eventually, your mind just goes blank. Focus wanders, you hit a wall.
Because we're ignoring our own biology. The science here talks about ultradian rhythms. Your brain naturally cycles through periods of high focus, typically around 90 to 120 minutes, followed by a necessary period of lower energy where it needs to rest and reset.
What if you just keep pushing past that 90-minute mark?
You crash. You enter this low-energy, error-prone zone. You're actually less productive, even though you're working longer.
The law of diminishing returns kicks in hard.
Absolutely. So the power of the pause is about respecting that natural rhythm. Short, guilt-free breaks, 5, maybe 10 minutes. Get up, walk around, stretch, stare out the window, close your eyes, step away from the screen. These aren't lazy moments, they're essential recharges. And interestingly, during these breaks, your brain often activates its default mode network. That's not wasted time. That's when unconscious processing happens.
So that's when the background processing connects ideas.
Often, yes. It's the space where insights emerge, where creative solutions pop up, the kinds of answers that relentless, non-stop hustle just never seems to reveal. Sometimes the most productive thing you can do is step away for a few minutes. #tag outro.
Wow. Okay, so we've covered a lot. We went from feeling kind of trapped by our own minds, by distraction, to really understanding these specific brain mechanics, sleep, movement, focus, managing stress, repetition, visuals, emotions, breaks. It's like having the keys to the engine room.
It really is. These 8 rules aren't just vague self-help ideas. They're concrete strategies grounded in how your brain actually works. They offer a path from feeling overwhelmed to feeling effective, maybe even extraordinary. But, knowledge is only potential power. It becomes real power through action, through actually doing things differently.
Right. So the question for you, listening right now, is are you just going to hear these rules today, or are you going to start living one? Maybe starting small.
And perhaps a final thought to chew on. If your mind is your greatest asset, and we know it thrives on these ultradian rhythms, these 90-minute cycles, how could you redesign just one day next week, or even just one block of time to truly respect that cycle? Take that break, guilt-free, and see what happens.